Everyone has memories from childhood they wish they could forget. Some nights, certain things come back, things that shouldn't be possible. Tonight, I'm sharing 3 true stories from people who experienced something in their childhood that still haunts them to this day. These aren't just scary memories. They're the kind that change you forever. Let's begin. My name is Sarah. I need to tell you about something that happened when I was 9 years old. Something I've never been able to explain, and something that still makes me check behind every door before I sleep. We had just moved into an old Victorian house in rural Pennsylvania. My parents got it cheap. Way too cheap, but they thought it was a steal. 3 stories, wraparound porch, the works. To me, it just felt wrong. The air inside was always cold, even in summer. And the walls, God, the walls were so thick. My bedroom was on the 2nd floor, at the end of a long hallway. I remember the first night I slept there. I heard it. Tap, tap, tap. It came from inside the wall beside my bed. At first, I thought it was pipes. Old houses make noise, right? But the tapping had a rhythm. 3 taps, pause. 3 taps, pause. Over and over. I told my parents, but Dad just laughed it off. Old house settling, he said. Mom seemed more concerned, but didn't want to worry me. So I tried to ignore it. But then the whispers started. It was maybe a week after we moved in. I woke up in the middle of the night. That dead hour around 3 a.m. when everything feels wrong. The tapping was there, like always. But this time I heard something else. A voice, faint, coming from inside the wall. Sarah, it knew my name. My entire body went cold. I pulled my blanket up to my chin, barely breathing, just staring at that wall. The wallpaper was this faded floral pattern, peeling at the edges, and in the dim glow of my nightlight, I swear I saw the paper move, just slightly, like something was pressing against it from the other side. Sarah, let me out. The voice was small, childlike, desperate. I wanted to scream, but nothing came out. I just lay there frozen as the tapping grew louder, faster, more frantic. The whole wall seemed to vibrate with it. Then my door creaked open. I snapped my head toward it, heart hammering. Nobody there, just darkness in the hallway. But I could hear breathing, slow, raspy breathing that definitely wasn't mine. The whisper came again, but this time it wasn't from the wall. It was right next to my ear. Why won't you help me? I screamed. I finally screamed, so loud my parents came running. Dad flipped on the lights, and everything stopped. No tapping, no whispers, just me, sobbing in bed, and my parents looking at me like I'd lost my mind. But I know what I heard. I know what I felt. After that night, I refused to sleep in that room. I camped out in the living room for weeks. My parents thought I was being dramatic, but eventually, Dad agreed to check the walls just to ease my mind. He brought in a contractor. They opened up the wall beside my bed. What they found, I'll never forget the look on my father's face when he came downstairs. Behind the plaster and wooden slats, there was a small space, like a gap between the walls, and inside that space, they found children's toys. Old ones, a rag doll with button eyes, wooden blocks, a small shoe, and scratches. Deep, frantic scratches carved into the wooden beams, like someone had been clawing to get out. The contractor went pale. He told us he needed to check something and started pulling away more of the wall. That's when they found the bones. Small bones, child-sized. The police came. Forensics. The whole thing became an investigation. Turned out, back in 1952, a little girl named Emma had disappeared from that house. The family who lived there claimed she ran away. They searched for weeks, but never found her. She never left the house. Her own parents had locked her in that wall space as punishment and forgot about her. or didn't care. The autopsy showed she'd been alive in there for days, scratching and screaming until I still hear her sometimes, even though I'm 31 now and live 3 states away. On quiet nights, when I'm alone, I hear that soft tapping, tap, 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 and a small voice whispering, "Thank you for finding me." My name is Nelson, and I haven't celebrated my birthday in 23 years because of what happened at my 7th birthday party. It was supposed to be the best day of my life. Mom went all out: streamers, balloons, a massive cake shaped like a castle. She even hired a clown. His name was Giggles the Clown, according to the flyer she'd found stapled to a telephone pole downtown. I remember thinking the flyer looked old, faded, but Mom was excited about the price, way cheaper than the other entertainers. Red flag number 1, but I was 7. What did I know? The party was in full swing when he arrived. 20 kids from my class running around our backyard, hyped up on sugar. Then the gate creaked open, and there he was, Giggles the Clown. Something was immediately wrong. His costume was dirty, actually dirty, like he'd been rolling in mud. The colors were faded and stained. His makeup was smeared. A smile painted on his face, extending way too far up his cheeks, almost to his ears. And his eyes, they were wrong, sunken, dark. When he looked at me, I felt seen. Not in a good way, in a way that made my stomach drop. But the other kids didn't seem to notice. Or maybe they just didn't care. Giggles started doing tricks, balloon animals, card tricks, the usual stuff. But his movements were jerky, unnatural, like a puppet being yanked around on strings. And he never stopped staring at me. Then came the magic show. Giggles pulled out this old black trunk, covered in peeling stickers. He asked for a volunteer. My friend Tyler shot his hand up immediately. Giggles pointed right at me. "The birthday boy," he said in this scratchy, wet voice. "Come here, Nelson." I didn't want to go. Everything in my 7-year-old gut screamed no. But all the kids started chanting my name, and Mom was smiling, recording everything on her camcorder. So I walked over. Giggles opened the trunk. It was empty inside, just dark velvet lining. He gestured for me to climb in. "Don't worry," he whispered, leaning close. His breath smelled like rot. "It's just a trick." I climbed in. The trunk was cramped and smelled like mildew and something else. Something metallic. The lid closed above me, and everything went black. I could hear Giggles talking to the crowd, his voice muffled. Then I heard tapping on the trunk. 3 taps on the top, 3 on the side. Some kind of trick sequence, I figured. But then the bottom of the trunk opened. I fell, not onto the ground. I kept falling, through darkness. Cold, endless darkness. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. I was falling for what felt like forever, my stomach in my throat, terror crushing my chest. Then I hit something. Not ground. Water. Freezing. Black water that burned my skin like ice and fire at the same time. I thrashed, trying to swim up, but I didn't know which way was up. Then I felt them. Hands. Small, cold hands grabbing my ankles, my arms, pulling me down deeper. I opened my eyes underwater and saw them. Children. Dozens of children floating in the darkness, their eyes white and empty, mouths open in silent screams. They were all wearing birthday hats. Then I saw him. Giggles. He was down there too, but different. His face was peeling off, revealing something underneath. Something with too many teeth. His painted smile was real now, splitting his face open impossibly wide. He grabbed my face with his cold, wet hands and pulled me close. "Every 7 years, he whispered, I take one." Then light, blinding light. The trunk opened, and I was back in my backyard, gasping and soaking wet. Mom screamed. All the kids went silent. Giggles was standing there, smiling his painted smile. "Magic," he announced. But he was staring at me with those dark, hollow eyes. Then he packed up his trunk and left. Just left. Mom tried calling the number from a flyer. Disconnected. She tried finding the flyer again, gone. Like it never existed. She checked with other parents, looked online. No record of any performer named Giggles the Clown. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night. 10 years later, I was helping Mom clean out the garage. I found an old box of photo albums from her childhood. I was flipping through them when I saw it. A birthday party photo. My mom was a little girl, maybe 6 or 7, and standing behind the crowd of children, slightly out of focus. Giggles the Clown. Same costume, same smeared makeup, same black trunk. The photo was dated 1976, exactly 7 years before my party. I turn 37 next month. I've changed my name, changed my locks, but I keep finding things. A single balloon tied to my doorknob. A playing card slipped under my door. Last week, I found muddy footprints outside my bedroom window. Big footprints, with pointed shoes. My name is Mitchell. What I'm about to tell you happened 19 years ago, but I still can't sleep without a light on. None of us can. The 4 of us who survived that night, we don't talk anymore. We can't, because talking about it means remembering, and remembering means seeing her face again. I was 11. It was the summer before 6th grade, and my best friend Melissa was having a sleepover for her birthday. 5 girls total: me, Melissa, Hannah, Jordan, and a new girl named Claire who'd just moved to town. Claire was strange, quiet. She had these pale blue eyes that barely blinked, and she always seemed to be watching us. But Melissa felt bad for her. She didn't have any friends yet, so she invited her. Everything was normal at first. We did the usual sleepover stuff, movies, junk food, painting our nails. Around midnight, Melissa suggested we tell scary stories. That's when Claire spoke up for the first time all night. "I know a game," she said softly. "A real one." We all looked at her. "What kind of game?" Hannah asked. Claire smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. "It's called the Midnight Door." She explained the rules. At exactly midnight, we had to turn off all the lights in the house. We'd gather in a circle in the living room with one candle in the center. Then, one by one, we'd knock 3 times on the floor and say, "I knock on the midnight door. Who's there? Who wants more?" After all 5 of us knocked, we had to stay silent until the candle went out on its own. When it did, we'd hear a knock somewhere in the house. We'd have to follow the knocking sound until we found a door we'd never noticed before. And then, Melissa asked, excited and nervous. Claire's smile widened. "Then you open it." We should have said no. God, we should have just painted our nails and gone to sleep. But we were 11, and it sounded like a thrill. So we did it. We turned off every light, lit a single candle, sat in a circle on the living room floor. Melissa's parents were asleep upstairs. We were being quiet, giggling nervously. Then the clock struck midnight. Claire went first. She knocked 3 times on the hardwood floor. I knock on the midnight door. "Who's there? Who wants more?" Nothing happened. Melissa went next, then Hannah, then Jordan. Each of us knocked and recited the phrase. I went last, my hand shaking as I rapped my knuckles against the floor. I knock on the midnight door. "Who's there? Who wants more?" Silence. We waited, barely breathing, watching the candle flicker. Then, the flame turned blue. Ice-cold air rushed through the room, making us all gasp. The candle flickered violently, and then it went out. Complete darkness. That's when we heard it. Knock, knock, knock. It came from upstairs. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I'd pass out. But we all stood up, fumbling in the dark, and made our way to the staircase. The knocking continued. 3 knocks, pause. 3 knocks, pause. We climbed the stairs, holding on to each other. The knocking led us down the hallway, past Melissa's parents' bedroom. They didn't wake up. The knocking stopped at the end of the hall, at the linen closet. But here's the thing. The linen closet door wasn't a door anymore. It was different, taller, made of dark what I'd never seen before. And there was a handle shaped like a twisted hand. "We don't have to open it," Hannah whispered. But Claire was already reaching for the handle. "Yes," she said. "We do." The door swung open. Behind it wasn't a linen closet. It was a hallway. A long, impossible hallway that stretched into darkness. The walls were covered in children's handprints, hundreds of them, in what looked like ash or dried blood. And at the end of the hallway, we saw her. A woman, impossibly tall. Her body was wrong, too long, joints bending in ways they shouldn't. She was wearing a white dress that was stained and torn. Her hair hung over her face in wet, black tangles. She was crawling toward us, fast, on her hands and feet, her back arched like a spider. We screamed. Melissa slammed the door shut, and we ran. We ran downstairs, screaming for her parents. They finally woke up and rushed down, turning on all the lights. We were hysterical, all talking at once, telling them about the game and the door and the woman. Melissa's dad went upstairs to check. We heard him open the closet door. "There's nothing here," he called down. "It's just the linen closet." We all went up to look. He was right. It was just a normal linen closet. Towels and sheets. No dark wood. No twisted handle. No impossible hallway. But Claire was smiling. "I told you it was a real game," she whispered. The next morning, Melissa's mom tried calling Claire's parents to pick her up. The number didn't work. They checked the address Claire had given when she enrolled at school. It was an empty lot. No house. Just dirt and weeds. The school had no records of any paperwork from her parents. No emergency contacts. Nothing. Claire had just appeared. And then she disappeared. We never saw her again. But we did see the woman. All of us. At different times. Hannah saw her standing in her backyard at night, watching her through the window. Jordan woke up one night to find her crawling across her ceiling. I saw her reflection in my bathroom mirror, standing right behind me. But when I turned around, nothing was there. Melissa had it worst. 3 months after the sleepover, Melissa disappeared from her bedroom in the middle of the night. Her window was open. Police searched everywhere. They found her 2 weeks later in the woods behind her house. She was alive, but she wouldn't speak. Couldn't speak. Just stared ahead with empty eyes. She's in a facility now. The only thing she ever said was whispered to her mother once, late at night. She's still waiting at the door. She wants us all to come back. I'm 30 now. I still hear knocking sometimes. 3 knocks, pause. 3 knocks, pause. And sometimes, when I'm alone, I see doors that shouldn't be there. Doors that weren't there a second ago. I never open them. But someday, I'm afraid I won't have a choice. Because in my nightmares, I see Claire smiling at me, whispering. The midnight door doesn't close. It's always open. And she's still crawling closer. 3 stories. 3 childhoods ruined. 3 people who learned too young that some things in this world can't be explained, only survived. If you've experienced something similar, you're not alone. And remember, some games are meant to be played. Thanks for watching. Sleep well, if you can.